Hello and welcome back to Mayster Reviews. Today we're going to be talking about my best pick for Halloween this year, Barbarian. Now, from a very cryptic and drawn out release schedule across the US and the UK, it finally out of nowhere hit cinemas at the time of recording, late October on the 28th, and I'm telling you right now, this film, it's one of the best of the month and it will be up there in terms of the year in general. The first 40 minutes of this runtime is a masterclass in horror. The tension that it builds and using modern stereotypes to subvert the audience expectations as to what the threat actually is genius. The casting of Bill Skarsgård is an enormous part of that as well, because everyone knows him as this intimidating figure who played Pennywise the Dancing Clown a few years back, and you go into this expecting that he's the threat. Turns out, he's not. That is a mild spoiler, but no, Bill Skarsgård is not the threat, and it completely pulls the rug out from underneath you. That is not the plot twist, and there is much, much more to follow. I think the film becomes incredibly experimental for its time nowadays, in its later stages, and goes completely off the rails in a good way, like it gets bad shit crazy. But its first 40 minutes is where it shines, which is unfortunate because I'd rather the best part of the film be at its climax and it be a slow burner rather than it start good and finish solidly and have a really good ending, but at the but it have all the best bits at the start. But that was the case here. That's my only major complaint with it. It's that it did lose its way a bit with its complications and its pacing issues it's kind of an episodic narrative where the whole thing is kind of broken into about three different phases. I think I remember it's about three. It's like a three chapter structured film with about maybe four sort of four main parts of the film. And that episodic narrative does make the runtime feel a bit tiring at times and hard to sit through, because you're taking it like you're watching 4 episodes of a TV show in one go. It feels like it's drawn out by the end, and that they could have all been their own isolated stories. This could have worked more so, in my opinion, as a miniseries. This film as a miniseries would have worked considerably more, and probably would have hit on a completely different level. But as a cinematic experience, it is still incredibly solid. Uses often stylized camera work to really get the job done, and that sets it apart from other films. But what sets it apart from other films is something that isn't new to cinema. It just harkens back to what horror films used to be: quality, artistic expressions of tension, and slow built dread within the audience, rather than just a cheap jump scare. Literally the epitome of what Pray for the Devil was, the previous film I saw hours before. It completely takes those two films. They're a fantastic case study for modern horror, as how one completely succeeds and the other it just fails, and it just is quite mediocre. It does the job, as I said in my previous review, but it's just okay. It's nothing substantially amazing. So yeah, that is my review of Barbarian, a fantastic film. And yeah, I will see you all next time for my final review of October 2022, Triangle of Sadness.